2016 North American School Scrabble Champions. I'm Kevin Belenkoff, joined by Scrabble champion Will Anderson. Will is the reigning North American Scrabble champ for another few months.
Yes.
Going to put his title on the line in August.
We got more champs coming here, though.
That's true. We have a title about to be crowned here in Philadelphia. We've got two teams, two very different teams. On one hand, the Panthers, Knox and Logan, they've played together for a long time. On the other side, Noah and Jeffrey, they just met.
Yeah, amazing. They've kind of burst onto the scene. They won a ton of games in their preliminary 8 rounds. And we've seen them on the stream, and we were really impressed with their play. Knox and Logan from the Panthers, on the other hand, we've seen a number of years in a row, and they've just been building towards this moment. They've been so close before, and this could be their year.
Do we know if Noah and Jeffrey of the Rackmasters, did they go undefeated? We know they were undefeated through the first 7 rounds.
Yeah, it's not clear.
We're not
to
sure how
me.
they did in their
we'll
last
get
game,
you that info.
But we do know that these are the only teams. These are the best 2 records in our competition. There were no ties that needed to be broken. We know the Panthers had 1 loss. The Rackmasters either 1 loss or undefeated. That's not very common in this competition. We usually don't have an undefeated team going into our final round. It's always tough. They go back and forth. They play each other. It's been a long road to get there, and here we go.
All right.
And,
I believe Noah and Jeffrey going first.
Yeah, so
the Rackmasters.
They must have had a draw, and the Rackmasters in blue on your right, the Panthers in orange on your left. The clock has been struck, and right away, we see our favorite letter.
The V, it's shown up. Funny, it shows up 2 times in every game. I don't know why that is. Oh, wow.
Now, they do have an S.
I wonder if they have a great bingo of Otavas here.
Oh, come on now.
Oh,
oh my
gosh,
goodness.
They're so close. Oh, they've just mixed up
they have
the order of the... they know there's a bingo in there, but the spelling of it is just off. The bingo that's in that rack is spelled O-T-T-A-V-A-S.
Look at these guys.
Wow.
They just kind of glare at you.
They Knox and Logan are just totally...
And
it's definitely a hold. They held, clearly.
For a hold. And this is an interesting thing. It's upside down for them. Sometimes when you challenge, you spin the board around. Just take a look at the word the way you normally would see it.
Right.
However, it's the first word on the board.
Oh, man.
And they knew something was there.
Putting them to the test right away.
Who knows what they're thinking? Maybe they think, is it Ovadas or Otavas?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Do we know?
Oh, let me get you that. But that's just amazing. I'm
pretty
pretty sure the Rackmasters must have seen this word. And Otava is a form of an octave. So it's an octave.
And here we go.
It's an octave that is higher than indicated on your sheet music. That's the definition of Otava. The word we're seeing, Ovata, not in our dictionary. It's going to come off. We've just seen Knox and Logan challenge. Wow. Amazing opening. The question is, are Noah and Jeffrey going to try again? Are they going to know, oh, shoot, there is a word in there, but we mixed up the letters, and how is it going to proceed from here? I'm fascinated to find out.
They're picking it up, and losing a challenge on the first turn, if you're going to pick a time to lose one, not so bad. It's almost like you just lost the draw, and you're going to go second. You've exposed your letters to your opponent, however, they may think that they've got nothing or may know that the bingo was in there, but they just got the word wrong.
So there is a lot to consider if you're Knox and Logan here. First of all, you've seen every letter that Noah and Jeffrey, the Rackmasters, you've seen their full rack. You can write that down and look at it and say, well, what do they have? After that, you might see the actual bingo that's in there. They may know that. We've seen Knox play Eridan, Minaret.
They took 5 letters off their rack to replace them.
And they
exchanged. So they got the opportunity to go first. They used it to change their letters and send the first play back to the other team. So
interesting.
So they'd rather improve their letters than put something on the board.
Okay, and down goes Tav. I wonder if they thought again. I wonder that it's just so quick they played that phony Ovatas. It must have rung bells that there must be something in here. Anyway, they decide to play Tav. That's the safer play, especially if they just can't see the word that was in there. And now we've got some words on the board at last. So
Tav is a letter in the Hebrew alphabet. We've talked about that. We just saw a musical term. Musical terms are another one of those. If you want to kind of look for thematic things to study, that is one of them as well. Alphabets, currency, musical terms, scientific terms, whatever the case may be, to improve your Scrabble game, that can help you. 12 points. That is Noah and Jeffrey's score. Knox and Logan now play Hun.
yeah, so the interesting thing about this is I'm sure that as soon as Knox and Logan picked those letters, they would have wished to see Noah and Jeffrey play their O. I bet they would have found with Knox and Logan's rack they just had the bingo unholier through an O. Instead, they don't get that O. There's an A instead. There actually was a really, really improbable bingo through that A from their rack of inhauler. But not, failing that, Hun is a perfectly good play to use that U. And now we see Aga re-paralleling the play of Hun. Nice play.
AGA, ANA, and there you go. You look at what they've got there on their
there
rack.
It is.
Now they've just got to find a place to put it.
Well, oh boy, that play of Aga cuts down their options quite a bit. It doesn't look like there's a place to play that bingo of earlier after Noah and Jeffrey's play of Aga.
Now go back to their very first play. They had the J, 8 points, beginning of the game. They threw it back.
Yeah, interesting choice there. They threw it back specifically because they had 2 U's to go with it, and they probably didn't feel like there was a play they could make with the J that, they could have played J-E-U, Ju, but that still leaves a lot of clunky letters left over. And sometimes it's better to just push those bad letters aside and try not to start the game on that rough footing where you're playing for not that many points, you're leaving clunky letters behind. You can get into a slog that way, where exchanging at least can make sure that you aren't in that 3-4 turn sequence of having bad letters. Ooh, nice play here by Knox and Logan.
They drop ER, which are 2 great letters to hang on to. They just happen to have them as well. And we saw for just a second the finals of our Rubik's Cube Championship will pop up onto your screen now and then. You may want to take a look at them. I saw you were
Amazing,
talking about it. It was
yeah.
7 seconds.
I saw it. I was just all about the Scrabble for that moment, but man, that was incredible.
Oh, here we go.
There it is, Kevin.
Thank you. It's
Yes.
about time we see out go in front of something. And it is a good word, out bet. So
Well, it actually is.
It
This
is?
word,
Yeah.
it seems like it
No.
should be good, but it's actually not somehow all the crazy out words, as you allude to often, that are in the dictionary. This one that is completely reasonable is actually not. It's not somehow.
and
It seems so reasonable that one could never fault Knox and Logan for just accepting it on face value. Why wouldn't this be good? It's actually not in our dictionary, which is incredible.
now they played an E and an R.
They drew
before,
2
And
vowels.
they drew an E and an A.
They really wanted to see 2 consonants come out there. So let's see how the game proceeds from here. Wow, really great find by Noah and Jeffrey of out bets. It's more of a technicality than anything that it's not in the Scrabble dictionary somehow.
However, anybody who is following my advice, don't do it anymore.
Well,
We
look,
haven't seen a single out
but
word
Kevin,
so far.
it worked.
It worked there,
It
yeah.
stayed on the board.
I
So
thought it
how
was good.
bad was it?
I
you
thought
know?
it was good.
So
I would not have challenged that.
So I feel like that was a good, reasonable play. One could easily use that in a sentence in a poker game. So let's just see. We've seen Knox on the stream before. They had a bingo, an opening bingo against them of Bastion. They didn't even bat an eye. So they're here in the championship game. They're in a bit of a hole early. I guarantee you they're not panicking. They're just trying to figure out how can we get a bingo as soon as possible from here.
This is a word you see quite frequently when playing Scrabble, or REI, or
Yeah, that's the Orei is the plural of aureus, which is a coin. That's a type of coin. So this is there's a lot of currency words in Scrabble, rare words you're not likely to see. This one especially useful because it's got 4 vowels and only 1 consonant. You see it a lot.
The Rackmasters, they drew the J, and it looks as if they're going to play it. So
Never a bad
Panthers
idea.
threw it in. And look at this.
Nice.
They pick up 24 points for the J where it is, double it by playing that S. It's a little, maybe didn't want to get rid of the S that easily, but obviously for an additional 26 points
for,
like that,
for a big
you gotta
score,
play it.
yeah, for a big score like that, it makes all the sense in the world. So they are trying to just run up the score as much as they can in the early going.
And Knox and Logan can't catch a break. They've kind of cleaned out their rack, and they weren't able to get very much. They will play Gel, Jell. That is good for 33 points. So they're going to kind of climb back into this. It's interesting, when they play just the ER, you kind of sirens go off on the other side. Something's going on. They've got something good.
They were so close when they played ER, and then their subsequent draws have been just too clunky. They've gotten further away from bingoing. They were so close early on, and it's just the draws have taken them further away. But the nice thing about their play of Gel, scores 30. They kept that X. They had an X as well. And there is a nice spot to play the X alongside out bets. Going down, they should be able to play the word axe there for a bunch of points, as well as opening a new lane on the board. If we can get a shot of that board,
well,
so we can
see
look.
There, yeah. In the meantime, the Rackmasters have L-I-M-N. This is one of those Scrabble words.
Nice, yeah, that's a nice idea.
You see it very frequently, and knowing it is a good word because it's an unusual construction.
Yeah, just an archaic word for to illustrate something is to limn. Yeah, limn. But
well, they're hanging in there. And,
okay, so they've got axe in order on their rack. I'm sure they see the spot for it alongside out bets.
And
they found an even better spot.
Even better spot because that just opened up.
Yeah, the
so
new
they can
spot.
not only they can play the E as well. The E would have played over there, but now the X is sitting on that pink double word square, so it's going to be worth more points than it was
really
the other
nice.
way around.
Yep, a bunch more points, maybe 4 or 5 more.
And you see the value in waiting to make your play after considering what your opponent just did.
Yeah.
If they didn't open that up, they might have played X on the other spot, but that opened up more points, and they took advantage.
That's great discipline by Knox and Logan, just to make sure they didn't rush things, and the play that was the best before Noah and Jeffrey played was not the best after they played, and they made that adjustment. Really nice job.
They are within 44 points, despite the fact that the other team is big.
Yeah, they're right there. Ooh, nice play. That's a very mature play there. Balled through the AL. They have this Q on their rack that's kind of, an albatross for now. Instead, they just take a few points and hope that a better opportunity comes up for that Q. Quickly, Knox and Logan are responding to that play of balled.
A-G-E-E, a G.
Yeah, that's just a really advanced play. Yeah.
The A sits on top of the D, stretches all the way to the triple letter score. So not only can they grab some points, they can sort of reset their rack.
That was the best play by a mile in that position.
And that spot that was sitting there before where you thought axe might be played.
Down goes if, yeah.
If is played there, which is a very strong play given the fact, the X is 8 points, but the F is 4 points.
Yeah, I just worry about Noah and Jeffrey. They're in the lead. They have control of the game as of right now, but they continue to have the Q as part of their rack leave. Remember, I talked before about each play consists of the word you're playing, the board element, is it opening or closing, and then the letters you leave over. That's your 3 factors for any play. And Noah and Jeffrey have had that Q. It just continues to sit there. And when you have a Q with no U on your rack, you really hurt your chance. You're never going to draw into a bingo unless you get really lucky. And Knox and Logan it's just another chance for them to keep clawing their way back into the game and hope they get a bingo first.
We've yet to see the blanks in action. There are 2 U's on the board, which leaves 2 in the bag, but one of those is on Knox and Logan's rack. So
Yeah.
there's just one U available to them, along with both blanks. Still pretty early, though. Still enough time that
Totally early.
you don't
yeah.
want to panic and dump the Q unless it's going to be a situation that's going to help you in the long run.
So we're looking at the board. We see that Knox and Logan have an S. That's going to play with gut. You see gut on the kind of lower left corner. Not really the corner, but that would be a place to use your S. You see a couple of other areas where a bingo would go down. If you could hook EM, there's a few letters rather, going in front there. And then maybe from the L of gel down to the triple, or hooking EF. So there are a number of opportunities that you could see a bingo be played.
Not with these letters, you can't.
Not with these
and
letters,
They're just
yeah.
so trading in was an option.
Sure.
Grabbing some points there, 6 and for 10 points, and dropping the double A is also an option.
I like that because their play didn't block any of the options I was just going through systematically. It scores 10. They didn't use either of their consonants, and if they could just get 2 of the right consonants, or maybe a good mix of a vowel and a consonant, you could be seeing them bingo here.
Well, there's no vowel played there with
Nice.
PFT,
Yeah.
if you want to try and pronounce it.
Yeah, it's just one of those interjections. That's a really nice way to score
Now
and dump some consonants.
They still have the Q, along with an I and an S.
Yeah,
so.
it continues to sit there. I worry about that for them.
Now, if you get the, muckiest, is that a word?
Muckiest is a word.
There's no T to play with.
Wait, is it? I don't know. I don't.
All right, but well, it looks like he's going to play muck.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so he
of
plays
course.
muck, which is a really nice play,
Nice.
making the word mem another Hebrew letter.
Yeah, that's a great play. It's getting all of those high-scoring, clunkier letters off along with the U, leaving their best letters over to bingo with, those low pointers and an S.
And again, they're within a bingo. It looks like a large lead. What is it? 59 points?
Yeah, it's going to be
69
more when
points.
muck is added to their
Oh,
score.
it hasn't been added yet, so
Yep.
it's going to be closer.
It's closer than even that you're seeing. You'll see that momentarily.
Now, nothing sits in front of the K
There it is.
or the C. So that stuff there is dead for now unless somebody puts an A or an I after the K.
Sure, which would be a great setup in many cases.
All right, so there you see. It's a 44-point lead for Noah and Jeffrey. Obviously within a 50-point bingo.
Would love to see them try to get this cue off as soon as they can.
Now,
I don't know if
he
it's going to
pointed
happen.
over. He pointed over towards the EF side of the board, but it does. I don't think they're going to be able to drop the Q unless they play QIS going.
I might like seeing QIS go down here.
Along, and then you'd be putting that S under
It
gut.
it blocks that lane, which is still wide open even after muck. So it gets the cue off finally.
Sometimes you're looking for.
There it is. Very good.
Oh, look
Good
at that.
decision. Really, really good call here by Noah and Jeffrey. That is an advanced play. You don't want to give up your S, but it's the only way to get your cue off, and it blocks that dangerous lane that, for all they know, Knox and Logan were right on the verge of hitting.
Q's good news and bad news. And here it was kind of neutral news.
Right.
But they played it in a nice spot. They didn't get a whole lot of points for it, but more importantly, they got it off their rack and jammed up the board when they were ahead.
Oh, a
nice
great play.
Quiver.
Wonderful play.
They're going to grab. It's got a lot of points. They also get rid of lousy letters like U and V.
That's their best play by a long shot.
That does take that S hook at the end, but I think there's only one S in the 2 blanks remaining.
It takes a Y hook as well,
Quivery?
and both Ys are available. I believe it does. Or maybe just Quavery. Let me check that. Yes, it does. Take a Y hook,
Okay.
Quivery.
So a lot of opportunities to use it, and obviously they'd like to be the team that does there.
Oh,
Now
it'd be a huge swing.
they've crawled within 27 points. You can pick that up in a single turn without even bingoing.
So impressed by the play of both teams so far. These guys belong here in the championship game. So it looks like Noah and Jeffrey have kind of a mishmash of low point scoring letters. Wish we could see that 7th to see if they maybe have any occasion to look for a bingo. But these are really not the letters they want right now, those in-between letters. They can't score that much. They can't bingo. It's one of those tough racks that it's tough to know what to do with.
They're going to play.
Do they actually have a
NDE is
bingo
not a
coming?
word, but
Oh, they had a bingo. Wow, great play. Awesome.
Indentor.
That is a wonderful play.
Through the
Oh,
E
wow.
and quiver is going to give them an enormous
So
lead.
it turns out that last letter we couldn't see, it was an important one.
And just in time, too, because
wow.
an
They'll
S
have
and a blank found their way onto the Panthers' rack. And now they've got to look at
Great
using
timing.
that quiver and
Oh,
putting an S there. Is
the
there
key
anything?
here is they really have to find swooned if they can. Oh, they're going to
They're
play
gonna play
woods,
woods.
which isn't such a big deal because they still have an N and a blank. That play scores a ton of points, but it would have been great for them to see swooned right there. I bet they could have with just a little more time. Woods scores 52 points. Hard to turn that down, but swooned would have scored 99, which is just a game-breaking play there. It would have equalized the
Would
game
have tied up the game.
completely. Yeah. Oof.
It's still
Still
within
anybody's
reach-
game. Still
within
anyone's
reach
game.
for Knox and Logan.
Yep.
And they have a Y that would have sat under the quiver, but they play it very nicely on a double letter
Oh.
score, stretching down to a triple word score.
Nice play. That's kind of that's definitely a word yow that
Now,
you're not
remember
likely
how-
to see.
Remember how you said they had with one blank? No, they got two blanks.
Wow.
Now, that's good news and bad news. If they could have gotten one blank, gotten a lot of points, and then gotten the other blank and gotten a lot of points, but it's hard to complain in a situation where you need to bingo getting two blanks in this situation.
Wow. This is amazing. Okay, so they've got both blanks. They're losing by a
89.
lot. They're losing by a lot, but they've got the ammunition to come back. There's a number of different ways they could go here. First, they have a Y. We could see them play. They don't have to bingo here. If they don't find one, they can realize that mucky is a word and play a really nice scoring play in that area of the board, hooking the Y to muck and hitting the triple word score. They could potentially find bingos here. There are some. They may play tidying or tindery. There,
And
okay, we're
there
seeing
is.
it.
We're assuming that that is an E and an R.
It's going to be ER for
So
sure.
Tindery. So they bingo with both blanks in a situation where they trailed by 89 points.
And now
this
they're
won't
going to be,
score 89, but they are
gonna be
definitely
darn
within-
close.
right there.
wow, this is really
Now both
awesome.
blanks are out. The Z is still available.
Yeah,
We
there's the
haven't seen
Z, a good mix of vowels and consonants. So I wonder if the Z is going to be a game changer here. Fascinated to see how this is going to turn out.
13-point game.
Wow, for all the marbles.
We've always had close games in the final, and then sometimes, boom, they just break.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens here. This has been a really exciting match. You see a number of long words.
Just look
on
at the
board.
words on the board. I mean, just look at them.
I always say at the beginning of our time here that if you watch us, you're going to become a better player. You're going to learn a lot of words, and we certainly have.
No question. All right, so we see core go down. C-O-E were played through that R of indentor. That's a nice score, but it's not going to be enough to scare Knox and Logan if they get the Z and some other good letters to go with it. It looks like
Now, they have an ING, but there's nothing
Yeah.
that can go along with it. So now they're keeping track of the letters that are available. There are probably not very many left in the bag. So they're realizing that
there's only 2 left
there's
in the
only
bag.
2. Well, they could set up
Oh.
phasing, something like that, if they're able to manipulate things well enough. It's going to
Oh,
be
this is
very,
really
very
complicated.
difficult.
So they're staring at a 30. Ooh, there's that Z.
So we know the Z is no longer available. When Noah and Jeffrey grab that letter, they kind of breathe a sigh of relief. They're going
Yeah.
to have to play it off. You don't
Sure.
want to get stuck eating it, but you also don't want to put your opponent in a situation where they're going to be able to maximize their efforts with it.
Wow, this is just really complicated. There's 2 tiles left in the bag. Knox and Logan may judge themselves to be in a situation where they have to potentially try and bingo if they feel that Noah and Jeffrey have the Z and are going to outscore them unless they get that bingo down, if that's what they decide, they cannot use more than 2 tiles here. They have to use 2 or less, or else they eliminate their chances of bingoing just based on the tiles left.
They can't trade any in. There are
Right.
not enough letters to do that. You could pass, but you wouldn't do that with this rack.
No, they have to use some letters here and hope to draw new ones because they don't have a bingo currently.
And that's the 2-letter word that doesn't gum things. Oh no, they're gonna.
They're going to try to. I think they're going to try to draw the Z themselves, which is another reasonable pathway to take. Unfortunately for them, Noah and Jeffrey have that Z in their control right now, and I think they may realize they're in a good position here. Let's see how this end game. This is it. This is the end game that will determine the champion of this year's School Scrabble Championship.
And Zori, Z-O-R-I.
Great play.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
they
Zori.
play off the Z.
Awesome.
And they play it onto a triple letter spot. That is a 33-point play. And when the bag is empty and you can grab 33 points on a single play, that's pretty darn good.
That's going to be really hard for Knox and Logan to overcome. Great play by Noah and Jeffrey. They do have an F that they can try to score as many points as they can with, but I just think given that big deficit after Zori, I don't think it's going to be enough. Let's see how it works out. You never know. Some crazy things can happen at the end of a Scrabble game, so we'll see. Right now, I'm looking at Noah and Jeffrey as the likely champions.
Logan looks very frustrated, and it has been a frustrating game for them. They had the blank. They tried to set themselves up, couldn't do it, grabbed another blank, found a wonderful bingo in Tindery.
Yeah,
but
that was great.
then they needed either to grab the Z or to bingo at the end. And they figured, all right, let's take the points with 4 letters down there. We can go out easier that way.
Right.
But the Z on the previous draw was taken by the Rackmasters.
You can just flip a coin in that situation. There's almost no way to know. Is the Z still available for us to draw, or do our opponents already have it? Sometimes you try to look for your opponent's previous move. Yes, that is the score that we're...
So it's a 38-point swing. It was a 5-point game before that last play.
Yeah, the Z was the decider there. So you can just see, after Knox and Logan's play of Peeg, P-E-A-G, had they drawn the Z, it could be a totally different ball game here. As it turned out, the pathway they didn't choose of maybe playing just 2 letters and opening a spot to bingo, which probably would have been blocked, honestly. They would have needed to draw something really precise that played in 2 spots. That would have been their only chance, and even then it didn't look good. So that was a really tough situation.
They have 9 minutes and 18 seconds ticking down on their clock.
No reason not to think it over.
It seems to happen all the time in our final championship game. It's pretty much decided, but they're going to squeeze every second they possibly can just to make sure there's not something hiding there.
And why not? Why not? In that situation, that is the correct way to use your time. So
there's some places that F can go to grab some points.
Yes.
If they want to try and squeeze out a phony and get away with it, they may be able to do something.
That could be their best bet. I think what they're looking to do now is to try to force some kind of error by Noah and Jeffrey. Maybe they can induce them to play a phony somehow and get an extra turn. That's really their only way back to winning this game. So
well, they got to use the F, so you can put it on next to the I in Tindery and try and get away with the
They could do that, sure. I think mostly they're probably trying to figure out what's Noah and Jeffrey. They have the letters L-O-O-T, loot. Where can they play those letters? How can we block them and just prolong the game one more turn, get one more mistake maybe out of them, and potentially steal it? That's what they're...
You don't want to do anything that's going to open things up so that they can't
Yeah, you see Logan hang his head. You see Logan hang his head. He's not seeing a way to do that.
The lucky pinata came up a little short, but I assure you he's got good breath.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Got to have those mints there.
Well, if
I
you're
think
gonna be-
more people
Yes,
over the
more
Scrabble
people.
board would do well to have some Altoids.
Yes, it would.
So yes, but back to the task at hand. It's just tough to see what they're going to come up with here. Let's see if I can look.
Sometimes
come
you
up with
take this
something.
long when you just know there's something there. And here, I have a feeling they know that there's nothing there.
I just don't even see. Well, first of all, I don't see necessarily where Noah and Jeffrey are going to use up all of their letters. So I think Knox and Logan have to think to themselves that they're going to have a second turn to work with. I just don't know.
But even then, they're going to have a tough time going out
Even
on this
then,
board.
it's going to be
because
tough.
look at what you're dealing with. You've got a K with nothing to do with it. You've got a Z, and you can't do anything with that. You've got that L hanging at the top, but your letters don't help you there. And then in the other corner, you'd need an E to put at the end of AY, and you don't have one.
Yeah, and the score is not their friend in the sense that it's just too many points now to come back from after that huge play of Zori, which I can't say enough. Noah and Jeffrey have played some great words in this game. Yow with that E at the end. I think that's actually pronounced you. It's a synonym for EWE, you, a sheep. Yeah. Zori, you. Indentor, Indentor, amazing find with those clunky-looking letters. That's just great. So a number of excellent plays, and out bets must be the most plausible-looking out word of all time. That's not actually in the dictionary. So
A Zori is what most people now call a flip-flop.
aha, nice. So we've got some words spanning the whole gamut of definitions. So they're going to eventually have to do something here. It doesn't feel good to be in that situation of a game you feel is out of reach.
And they're from Virginia?
I believe so, yeah. Certainly Knox is.
Well, I think they're at the same school.
Okay,
but
that
I
makes
may
sense.
be mistaken.
Sure.
I'm just thinking if they got a plane to catch, let's go, guys.
Well, I doubt anybody minds if they take a
No,
couple
you got
more
to take
minutes.
all the time. I think I told you off camera a story of the time I went out with the word cocaine.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, I spent like 8 minutes or so just finding that word. It was,
and you found it at the end of that.
I found it.
Sure.
And I still remember my opponent was so gracious. It was he just said, just take whatever time you need.
Wow. Well, that's rare.
I don't have the patience to do it.
Rare sportsmanship.
Yeah, no. Well, no, that's not true. But on the whole, you remember the ones that are poor sports. But for the most part, Scrabble players are.
I just mean rare in the sense of being so good at sport. I think most Scrabble players are pretty good sports. These kids are shockingly good. I mean, you never see so much as a frown from these kids. So it's amazing.
We don't have a situation where that ends with the board being thrown and tipped over.
I have not seen that in all my years attending this event.
Since Jimmy Kimmel. They used to play on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and he would always end the game that way. And by the way, he's a really good Scrabble player.
Right.
All right, so they're going to take
let's
a shot.
See.
Why
Smart.
Why not? Now,
I love this idea. It's so good. That's not a word, mucky, with that spelling. But you know what? Why not try it? Wow, it's such a...
How many points is it, though?
It's a ton of points.
Yeah, it's 18 for FIR.
Oh, that's so clever. I just love that.
And they are going to challenge it.
Oh, do they challenge?
But how many points was it worth? Because
it was a lot. I mean, let's just have a look. It was
18,
31
19.
points.
So 31 points. So then it puts them in a situation where, oh my gosh, maybe they can't. So now challenging it becomes a really difficult decision.
I'm shocked how fast they challenged.
Well, I think
they must have been, they must be really confident in their word knowledge, because with 10 grand on the line, you better be darn sure that there's no chance there's a word you haven't seen.
You know what?
Before, like that.
All the time that they took was probably an indication that they were trying get away with something. Because
Yeah.
had they known that word, boom, it comes on the board. Then it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Right.
But they needed to take that time to really find the ultimate play, and that probably was it. It didn't work out, but certainly actually was the proper play in that situation, because if they don't challenge it, you're back in the game. In the meantime, they were able to get rid of the T and both O's to put them over 400.
Yeah, and
Knox
that was
and Logan will take time looking at the board
I just
with
think
the same letters.
that was such an advanced tactic to take to make that gamble and play a phony there with just the right score, that it makes it tough for Noah and Jeffrey to pull the trigger on a challenge there. But to their credit, it's amazing. They must have great confidence in their word knowledge. We know they do. They've played awesome words all tournament long. But to challenge that word in that situation so fast, really amazing confidence level by Noah and Jeffrey, the Rackmasters.
The last letter of our tournament will be
An L.
Is LAH good?
Sure, I think
Oh.
that was newly added, I think.
So the L is good. They will add some points. They'll add another 2 points for the I from Knox and Logan. And Noah and Jeffrey grinning ear to ear.
They have come
earned
from, I'm not sure if they've competed at this event before. They've come from not on my radar to being incredibly deserving champions of our Hasbro Gaming Championship Scrabble division.
So
Awesome.
Congratulations to Knox and Logan for making the final table and putting up a valiant effort. And Noah and Jeffrey going to take this all in. They are the 2018 National School Scrabble Champions. They met on Friday. They had never met one another before. They had played against one another online, and
That's
the
tough
opportunity
for...
to sit down at the table, and they went first. They put down an amazing play that didn't work out.
Yeah.
But they were able to get away with another phony in there, and that could have swung the game in their favor. The Z stayed around until the end. They were able to get 30 points with just that tile. The score sheet will be filled out and signed. Somebody's got to keep those things. Put them in a frame.
Frame them, yeah.
Do you have yours? Do you have any? They go back to the
Yeah, I don't have too much memorabilia, but I'm sure these guys are going to treasure this moment as long as they live, really, and throughout their Scrabble career. That's going to be a pinnacle moment for these guys, Noah and Jeffrey. And no slight to Knox and Logan,
Not
who
at
were
all.
awesome, made several incredible plays in this game. And not sure about their eligibility for next year. I think Knox
and
has
Logan-
one more.
Knox may have one?
Yeah, well, we'll check on that. But assuming they do, they are a major contender for next year. Congrats to both teams.
And if they move up into the high school division, those people have to look out as well. You saw 2 former school champions. Right now, everything's being set up for our award ceremony. You know what they're really doing?
What's
They're
that?
scratching the name Will Anderson off the giant check.
Hey, that's fine with me. These kids deserve it. I enjoyed my time with the check, and
You're still like, hey, you have to give up the. It's not real, but you have to give up. You get to keep the
I
title.
tried to buy it, to be
Did
honest.
you really?
That was turned down.
Well, that's
so.
funny. I just talked about, wouldn't that be great souvenir? Put it on your wall.
Absolutely.
Some people put like a dead fish on their wall. Will would put the giant check.
Of course.
We're probably going to see the giant check, and not too far from now. We're going to set up downstairs. Stick around. See these kids get what they've certainly deserved and what they've earned. We will be back shortly.